Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I will be teaching you some IELTS writing today. I'm broadcasting to you live from beautiful Budapest, Hungary. This is a sponsor chat only class. We have 2 of these a week for our channel sponsors. Our sponsors get our 6 full practice exams for the IELTS, as well as an opportunity to request special classes and topics like today's topic, which was requested by one of our sponsors named Amanjot. So that's what we will be looking at today. Welcome, everyone. All right. Hi, Manisha. I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you? So our materials, as usual, they're coming from our websites. If you're studying for academic IELTS, then visit us at aehelp.com. And if you are studying for general IELTS, please visit us at gieltshelp.com. Both of these websites have lots of resources to help you pass the IELTS. We had a great success story just the other day. A student who tried to pass the IELTS several times, wasn't able to, found our website, followed our strategies, and finally got the score they needed. So we were really happy about that. All right. Again, you can check out our app in the Google Play Store. Download that. There is writing and speaking help available also on the websites. So today we're doing this sponsor chat only class, and tomorrow we'll have a class where everybody can comment and chat. It will also be another writing task 2 example. All right. So let's just take a look at today's question, see where we're going with this. So this is our IELTS task 2 question. As usual, it reads, you should spend about 40 minutes on task 2. It is worth 2/3 of your writing score. So make sure you spend 40 minutes on this one and only 20 minutes on task 1. Your goal, you have to present an argument or case to an educated reader with no specialist knowledge of the following topics. So the examiner, the reader, is smart. They will understand what you write as long as you write clearly, but they don't have specialty knowledge on the topic. So keep that in mind. All right, so here is the question that was submitted by Amanjot. Nowadays, animal experiments are widely used to develop new medicines and to test the safety of other products. Some people argue that these experiments should be banned because it is morally wrong to cause animals to suffer, while others are in favor of them because of their benefits to humanity. Now, this question says, discuss both views and give your own opinion. Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. And then it says, write at least 250 words. So it means it's minimum 250 words. That means you have to write at least 250 words to get a score of, let's say, 7, 7.5 or higher. Students who score 8, 8.5, 9, they're writing closer to 300, 350 words. Hi, Arcana. Nice to see you jumping into class as well. Okay, so I want to teach you a few different skills that are important for task 2 as we get going here. So this one says, discuss both views and give your own opinion. So the structure for this type of question is 4 paragraphs, okay, as usual. Unless you have extremely good English skills and you are very fluent in writing in English, I don't recommend writing more than 4 paragraphs, okay? Only if you are very confident that you have good essay writing skills, you have lots of practice, should you try to write 5 or more paragraphs in 40 minutes, okay? Hi, Mohammed. I'm doing good. Nice to see you in class as well. Okay, so the structure of discuss both views is introduction, so 4 paragraphs. You have first an introduction, Second, you have body paragraph 1. And body paragraph 1 is the side you agree with less or you disagree with. Okay, and then body paragraph 2 is the side that you agree with. And then body paragraph 4 is your conclusion. Why should you make body paragraph the side you agree with? So, Mohammed, Manisha, or Kana, do you know why it's a good idea to put body paragraph 1 the side that you disagree with, and then body paragraph 2 the side that you agree with? Why is that a good structure to follow? Do you have any idea? Well, it's because, yeah, in a way, Mohammed, you're right. It will be easier to conclude, but it makes logical sense, right? So it makes sense to say, well, some people believe this, and then I believe this, the other side that other people believe, which is better. It's good to convince the reader by leaving them with the idea that you agree with, not the idea that you disagree with, right? So it's good to leave off with the side that you support. Okay? That's the key here. All right? So that is the structure. We'll get into the example as we write the essay here. Before that, we're looking at this question. So nowadays, animal experiments are widely used to develop new medicines and to test the safety of other products. So let's paraphrase this. Remember, one of the first steps, and you should practice this at home, is paraphrasing the question so you can collect vocabulary, make sure you understand all of the parts of the question, and it gets you thinking about what to answer. So paraphrase, and always practice this at home. Paraphrase the question to collect vocabulary, check understanding, and think of the answer. So while I'm writing this here, you should already hopefully be thinking of a paraphrase. So nowadays, animal experiments. Okay? Yeah, Mohammed Arcana, those are some good answers for that previous question of mine. So nowadays, these days, animal, what's another way to say experiments? So start paraphrasing this, Mohammed, Manisha, Arcana, as much as you can. Start paraphrasing this question. It's definitely good to focus in on this specific idea and to come up with some good vocabulary to use in your writing. So these days, animal, what's another way to say experiments? Testing is good, yeah. Animal testing. Or another way would be, let's see if anybody else comes up with it, research would be another word, right? So animal testing, research is widely used. Investigation is not the best Arcana. Research is definitely better. Widely used is common to create novel. What's another way to say medicines? Any other way to say medicines? So keep thinking while I'm writing this. Is if you can see the question, girls and guys, just keep thinking of synonyms or antonym negatives or phrasal verbs, expressions to paraphrase some of these. Naitik, nice to see you in class. Remedy. Yeah, new remedies or novel remedies would be good. Drugs would be good as well, Mohammed. Absolutely. So drugs, remedies. What's the technical one? Anybody? There you go. Nice one, Mohammed. Yeah, pharmaceuticals. Manisha, I see that you're doing the full paraphrase. That's good. I'll take a look at that in a second. So pharmaceuticals. Yeah, those are all great. And to check the safety of other commodities or products. Sure. Goods. Okay. Sure, so that's great. Very nice. Manisha, you said these days animal experimentation is widespread to make new drugs and to analyze the effects of other products like cosmetics. Very good. So you're throwing in an example as well. Nice one, Mohammed, there with check and examine. Excellent. Nice paraphrasing, girls and guys. Way to do it. All right, so some individuals, I'm going to roll along here. Some individuals support, argue, are in favor to make, oh, just a sec, my camera fell asleep. No worries, I'll get you that back in a second here. I got to check why it's doing that on the weekend. All right, here we go. A little bit of a time to think of some more paraphrasing there for you. All right, back we are. So, individuals are in favor to make this type of research illegal because it causes animals pain, right? Others, however, support these studies because of their positive impact for humans. Okay, so rolling along nicely, and when you practice this at home, you will get pretty much just as fast as I just did it while you're doing your IELTS exam, and that's great. Okay, then you know that you're doing it right. So here we go, girls and guys. Nowadays, animal experiments are widely used to develop new medicines and to test the safety of other products. Some people argue that these experiments should be banned because it is morally wrong to cause animals to suffer, while others are in favor of them because of their benefits to humanity. Now here's the paraphrasing. These days, animal research is common to create novel drugs and to check the safety of other goods. Some individuals are in favor to make this type of research illegal because it causes animals pain. Others, however, support these studies because of their positive impact for humans. Okay, good. So we have a clear understanding of the question. We have some excellent vocabulary to use in our essay. Now we want to apply critical thinking, right? So with critical thinking, the first step here is the topic. So identify the topic. What is the topic? Manisha, Naitik, Joshi, Mohammed, what's the topic here? Yeah, I'm looking at it, Manisha. So some people believe that it is completely unethical to cause harm to animals for better research results, while others think it is important to ensure safety for humanity. That's great paraphrasing, Manisha. It's very, very well done. Yeah, Mohammed, you got it. Manisha, you nailed it as well. Topic here is animal experimentation. And what's the controlling idea? So animal experimentation, that's great. What's the controlling idea? And I'll get into the what, why, how here while you're thinking of that answer. Yeah, so that's right, Mohammed. So should it be banned or shouldn't it? Is it beneficial or is it unethical? Absolutely, that's the controlling idea. So should it be banned? Is it unethical? Absolutely. Okay, so let's jump back to the topic here and go through the what, why, how. So what is animal experimentation? It's giving chemicals to animals to see their reaction. Okay, that's what it is. Why do we do it? Why do we do it, girls and guys? Why do we do this? So why do we give these chemicals to these animals to see their reaction? So what's the goal here? What's the goal of this research? It's very important to identify this for your essay. Absolutely, Manisha. So perform laboratory tests to get certain results. Why do we do it? Arcana says because we can't test on humans. Yeah, another way to say it is too dangerous to test on humans. Yeah. Hi, Baljit. Nice to jump in there. We'll get to the topic again here. You'll see the question in a second, Baljit, so just hang in there. Again, this is a sponsored chat only for all those wonderful students watching. You can sponsor us by clicking on the sponsor link if it's available in your country. It's beside the subscribe button. To ensure safety, yeah, so it's too dangerous to test on humans. To ensure safety, and I'm still looking for one more good answer there. See if there's no side effects, absolutely, or reactions. So check for side effects or adverse reactions. By the way, if you're seeing new words or vocabulary, please write it down. Make sure to learn it at home. Adverse reactions. Yep, absolutely. And of course, I think one that you're missing so far still is to discover new ways to help humans, right? Okay. How do we do it? By feeding animals, studying them, watching them. Oh, there goes the camera again. I'll have to check into that. It's becoming more common. Just keep thinking of how we do it. All right. Give me one moment here. Just double check my connections here. Make sure it's not a loose cable that's causing you to see my little baby girl there over and over again. All right. So, yeah, that's a good one, Mohammed. Absolutely. Injecting them by syringes. Anybody know the word when humans cut up an animal? So when humans take a knife and they cut the animal up, anybody know how that's called in English? So injections. Injections means you give a needle, right? So injections. Apply to skin. So other ways, yeah, lots of ways. It's not chopping, it's not slaying, Baljit. Those are good tries, Baljit and Arcana. It's not chopping, not slaying. It's dissecting. Okay, dissecting means to cut up an animal in research. Okay, so now you've learned that word as well. Okay, it's dissecting. We dissect animals. Okay. All right. So should it be banned? Should it not? Okay. Now we can think about that. So we can think about should it be banned and should it not? And here's a new kind of strategy that I'm going to show you to help you come up with ideas and generate good answers. Okay. So two ways to generate good answers for task 2. One is think big to small. Okay. And the other way is think small to big. That's the one students usually forget to do. Okay. So thinking big to small is, for example, animal testing should not be allowed because it causes pain for the animals. Okay? When animals are injected with painful drugs, they suffer. For instance, if a monkey is given a strong drug, they can go crazy and die in a cage. Okay? So this is an example, girls and guys, of thinking from big to small, and this is what usually students do when they're coming up with ideas for task 2 or for essays. They try to think of the big picture, so they go, okay, why is animal testing wrong? Well, because the animals suffer, it causes them pain, they don't know what's happening to them. All right, so how does that happen? Well, a scientist injects the animal with something that causes them to suffer or cuts them open to see what's going on inside. Okay, what's an example of that? Well, an example is a monkey is given some kind of a strong anti-cancer drug. It doesn't work. They start going crazy and then die in a cage. Okay, so this is this kind of big global idea going into the smaller picture. Okay, so this is why we can think this way, but sometimes students get stuck when they're trying to think this way. So another way to do it is from small to big. So just reversing or flipping this system upside down, okay? So for the opposite side, so think about the animal testing is beneficial for humans. Let's go from small to big. Okay, so instead of starting with the main idea or the big picture, let's start with an example. Let's start with something specific. So Baljit, Arcana, Mohammed, Manisha, can you give me a specific example of where animal testing is a positive for society? So can you give me a nice specific example? Anything will do. Think of a kind of animal, think of a kind of research, think of a disease that we're trying to cure, think of who it might be helping, and then let's go from there, okay? So I'm waiting for your comments on this one. I don't want to just give you the fish, as I usually say. I want to teach you how to fish. So here, I want you to think of the specific, the small, the example that you could use in your body paragraph. Okay, so we're going in the opposite direction here. Not going from the what, why, how, but going from the how to the why to the what. Okay, that's another way to look at it. So when you're going big to small, you're doing a what, why, how. When you're going small to big, you're going from example to explanation to the what, okay? Arcana says, dietitians experiment new drugs, new types of insulin on mice. Yeah, that's a very good one, okay? Baljit, testing medicine on a mouse because they are similar to the human system. I read this in a newspaper. Sure, who is it helping though? So think about that as well, okay? It's really good to master this skill of small to big, not just big to small. Practice this at home. So let's stay with yours, Arcana. That's a good one, okay? So let's say scientists discovered a new effective insulin for diabetics, testing with mice, and this drug helped save my cousin's life. Okay? It takes a little bit of practice, but that's how you do it. So scientists discovered a new effective insulin for diabetics, testing with mice. And this drug helped save my cousin's life, okay? Mohammed says the H1N1 virus was widespread in Africa and many people were dying until researchers discovered a new drug they tested on animals, and today we are no longer in threat of this virus. Mohammed, I made a few adjustments there, but that's a very good example as well, okay? So this is the how in this case. Okay, now we go out to the why, okay? So testing and developing drugs helps to save thousands of people's lives each year, okay? So this is the why we want to do this, right? It's benefiting humanity. And then the what. So what? It is permissible to use animals for research in order to achieve a greater good for humanity. Okay? All right, so notice the reverse here. So going from the small, meaning from the example, from the how, towards the big picture, going towards the what, the main idea. So here we use the second point, animal testing is beneficial for humans. And then here we have this. By the way, Baljit, if you missed the question, it's also in the stream description, okay? So here we thought of the example first. And girls, guys, you did a good job there. I like that H1N1 example as well. Baljit, it's not real. I'm making this up, but it's fine. So scientists discovered a new effective insulin for diabetics by testing it with mice, and this drug helped save my cousin's life. That's the how. Why? So why are we doing this? Well, we're doing testing and developing drugs to help save thousands of people's lives each year or to make them better. So, what? Well, it is permissible to use animals for research in order to achieve a greater good for humanity. Okay, so this is the technique of small to big. Practice that as well as going from big to small. Hi, Amanjot. Nice timing to join. We're just about to write the essay, and this is your question. So, way to get in there. Okay, here is the opposite. So just review this one. Thinking big to small. So thinking of the what first. Okay, so in this case, the what is animal testing should not be allowed because it causes pain for animals. So that's the what. It's unethical. Why? Because when animals are injected, they suffer, or when they're used for tests, they suffer. So that's the why. And then the example is the how. For instance, a monkey is given a strong drug, it goes crazy and dies in its cage, okay? So that's the how. So this is the big to small, and that's the small to big, all right? I hope that is clear so far. Do you understand what I'm talking about here, Mohammed, Manisha, Arcana, Amanjad? So is it clear so far? Is what I'm saying clear so far to you? Do you have any questions about this so far? All right, good. I'm happy to see that you're picking up what I'm putting down. That's excellent. It is a very, very useful skill. By the way, this type of logic, so thinking of global picture and then explanations and then the how, and then the opposite, so thinking of the small to the big, is also useful for your speaking part 2. So sometimes when students get stuck for their speaking part 2 responses, it's also a good way to approach it, thinking of a specific example, then the explanation for that, and then the global picture, okay? Mohammed, I didn't invent this strategy today. It is actually in your full course in the website as well. I just haven't taught it in a live lesson yet, but I'm happy to share it with you. Um, so I'm glad that you're taking benefit from it. Okay, so now that we have this what, why, how from big to small, small to big, let's decide which side we support. So I'll take a majority opinion here. Do you think animal testing should be allowed or shouldn't be allowed? Give me a vote here. So give me your opinion, Baljit, Manisha, Arcana, Mohammed. What do you think? Should it be allowed or shouldn't it be allowed? And then that will decide the structure of our essay, which one becomes first and which one becomes second as the body paragraph. So we have 1 point for should be allowed. Baljit. What do you think? Mohammed, Arcana, Manisha, give me your opinion. Should it be allowed? Arcana also says it should be allowed. Amanjad also said should. So we have 3 for should be allowed so far. I think everybody has to go. Yeah, okay, Mohammed, you're agreeing as well. All right, so allowed. So that means that becomes our second body paragraph. Okay, so let's start writing this essay. Again, just a quick peek back at the question before we start writing. Nowadays, animal experiments are widely used to develop new medicines and to test the safety of other products. Some people argue that these experiments should be banned because it is morally wrong to cause animals to suffer, while others are in favor of them because of their benefits to humanity. And then, very importantly, the question says, discuss both views. So you have to discuss both views. We decided that we agree that it should be allowed. So paragraph 1 will become it should be banned. And body paragraph 2 will become it should be allowed. Okay? Because again, you put the one that you support second. All right. Good. So let's get cracking. First paragraph, introduction. All right. Again, it has 4 parts, right? It has a hook. It has the background. Sorry, 3 parts. Background's kind of 2 parts. Background and then thesis, right? So the hook is an interesting global statement about the topic. So can you give me a hook? Baljit? Or Mohammed? Or Amanjat? Can you give me a good, simple, clean, clear hook for this question? Mohammed says experimenting on living creatures is a common practice and is widespread. Sure, that's okay. Yeah. So experimentation on living creatures is common practice in today's scientific community. Okay? I just kicked it up a notch through in a couple of other common words and phrases there. Sure. So experimentation on living creatures is common practice in today's scientific community. Good, that works. Baljit, don't create an argument or a debate for your hook. It's not a good idea. Instead, just create a global statement like this. So when you say whether or not experimentation on living creatures is a contentious issue, it's a bit awkward. There's a mistake in there as well. And you don't want to throw that at your reader right away. You want to keep it more simple. Okay? Manisha, scientific research relies on animal testing these days. That's a good hook. I like it. It's a good one too, Manisha. It works. So after the hook comes your background. And the background has kind of 2 parts, your definitions and your importance of the question, right? So what do you mean by this? What do you mean by animal research and experimentation? And why is it important to discuss this issue? Okay. Amanjat, that's again an opinion, an argument. Experimentation leads to beneficial discoveries. You don't want to include that in your hook, you can kind of give it in the background, but before you make an opinion, definitely give a definition, okay? So a definition would be thousands of laboratories around the world use animals such as monkeys and rats to test drugs and other products, right? So that would be a definition of what we're talking about. So basically, I'm telling my reader in the introduction right away of, hey, look, this is what I think you mean when you say animal research in the question. I think what you mean, IELTS people, is you mean that there are thousands of laboratories and universities and companies, etc., around the world that are using animals like monkeys and rats to test their drugs and some other products, okay? So that would be the reason. Arcana, good. The reason for this is that human trials are too risky. But the benefits can be great. And then you can now create your thesis. Okay? So the thesis, remember, our point number one is that some people believe that animal testing is unethical, and our point number two is that we believe it should be permissible, so it should be okay. Can you write a thesis for me? Arcana, Manisha, are you also having trouble with the video? Is it buffering? Should I restart the stream? If you're having bad video quality or audio quality, please let me know if it's on my end or if it's on YouTube's end, then I can try to restart the stream. If not, Baljit, then it's probably just on your end. Okay? All right, yeah, it looks like everybody else is okay. So, Baljit, you'll have to check the connection on your end. Okay, cool. So I'll keep going. All right, thesis. Girls and guys, remember, as always, a good thesis will make a good essay. A bad thesis will make a bad essay. A thesis, for those of you watching who are not sure what that is, it's basically your argument, okay? It's your 2 points that will make up your body paragraphs. It's very, very important to have a strong thesis in your introduction. If you're not familiar with this, if you haven't practiced writing thesis statements, I highly, highly recommend you do that in university if you're planning to go to school in Australia or UK or Canada after you pass the IELTS. You will be expected to know what a thesis is and to be able to write a strong thesis statement. Okay, so let's write a thesis statement for this introductory paragraph. Baljit, that's a little bit too detailed. So although animal testing should not be done for the sake of humility, these days experimentation is guided by strict regulations, okay? So there's some corrections there, Baljit, to make sense of what you're trying to say, but I still wouldn't use that. I think that thesis is too detailed. You're including pieces of information that belong more in the body paragraphs. I would keep it more simple than that. But good try, Baljit. That's how you know what you're doing, okay? So I would have that information more for the body paragraphs, split up, and keep it more simple for the introduction. Let's see. I'll give you a second here before I throw mine up there. Do a 10-second countdown here. See if any of the other sponsors come up with a good thesis. Okay, this is what I would write. I would just keep it really simple. Although there is truth in the unethical aspect of animal testing, I believe the greater good justifies this need. Okay, so this is a high-level thesis. You could say it in much more simple ways. I'm just showing you a level 8, 9 thesis here. So although there is truth in the unethical aspect of animal testing, I believe the greater good justifies this need, or the greater good for humanity. Okay, now it's clear to the reader that most likely what's going to happen is this will become body paragraph 1. Okay, although there is truth in the unethical aspect of animal testing, and this will become body paragraph 2. I believe the greater good for humanity justifies this need. Okay. Of course, you don't need to write these. This is just for your notes. Manisha, you say, however, it is obvious that it is unethical to allow animals to suffer. I believe that animal testing ensures safety for mankind and produces results. Okay? Just watch those corrections, Manisha. All right, so this is a good introduction for this question. Experimentation on living creatures is common practice in today's scientific community. Thousands of laboratories around the world use animals such as monkeys and rats to test drugs and other products. The reason for this is that human trials are too risky, but the benefits can be great. Although there is truth in the unethical aspect of animal testing, I believe the greater good for humanity justifies this need. Okay, now I can get into body paragraph 1. So as usual, body paragraph 1 has a few parts: topic sentence, explanation, example, and connecting or concluding sentence. Okay. So I can start off with the topic sentence. Now here is my topic sentence. Animal rights activists around the world apply pressure on governments to ban animal testing. Okay, good. What comes next? The explanation. So the explanation, of course, is the why. So why? Why Baljit? Why Arcana? Why Amanjad? Why do animal rights activists around the world? By the way, again, please, girls and guys, all of you watching, even if you're not able to comment, you're not one of the sponsors, don't worry about it. If you're watching this live and you're seeing new expressions and terms and words, make sure you're writing these down. Have a piece of paper and a pencil. So animal rights activists, okay? They're called animal rights activists. Those are the people who advocate, argue for the benefit of animals, protecting animals' habitats, not using them in testing, and so on. Okay, so we've given this topic sentence. Around the world, apply pressure on governments to ban animal testing. Okay, so they pressure the governments to stop this kind of animal testing. Okay, Amanjad, good. In many cases, research done on animals inflicts great pain and suffering. Often, these poor creatures are kept in small cages enclosed rooms. Sure. Okay. So yeah, so in many cases, research done on animals inflicts great pain and suffering. Often these poor creatures are kept in small cages in closed rooms. They are injected with all types of chemicals and dissected for results. Okay? So getting into it. Yeah, it's very sad. It happens. Hopefully these laboratories are following their guidelines. But that's what happens. They're injected with all types of chemicals and dissected for results. For instance, one research center in the US was dissecting dogs to see what effects a new type of AIDS medication had. The people in the neighborhood complained of hearing terrible noises all day. Okay, so I'm just making it up, basically giving a specific example for this, all right? This type of suffering should not be allowed and goes against ethics, human ethics. Okay? So that is the explanation. This is the example, the how. Okay, and of course I could have used what I developed before when we were doing the big to small and the small to big. So when I did the big to small here, animal testing should not be allowed. It causes pain. Injected with drugs, for instance, a monkey is given a strong drug. It's the same thing, okay? Mohammed, that's a good explanation as well. These activists often say that animals are killed with dangerous substances being injected into them. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Baljit, that is a good connecting and concluding sentence. Absolutely, I agree with you. So nevertheless, these days, strict regulations are placed on animal research to avoid such situations. Yeah, it's good. Okay. So that's your concluding connecting sentence. I like it. So nevertheless, these days or nowadays, there are strict regulations to minimize the suffering of animals in research. And we can just stop there. And then we cut right into body paragraph 2. Okay, so I'll let you work on this a little bit more than I did on the first one. So here's body paragraph 2, same thing, starts with a topic sentence. So give me a topic sentence. And again, girls and guys, we can go back to that big to small, small to big. So this is the side that we agree with. We want to emphasize that. And here is the small to big that we came up with during our planning. Okay, again, for task 2 in IELTS, it's really smart to do 3-4 minutes of planning in this way. So we came up with what? It is permissible to use animals for research in order to achieve a greater good for humanity. Why? Testing on animals can develop new drugs to save thousands of lives. And how scientists, for example, discovered a new insulin testing on mice that helped to save my cousin's life. Okay, it's a very personal example. So we can use this information for body paragraph 2. But again, here I want to challenge you to create your own information. So apply this big to small, small to big type of thinking. So Arcana, Manisha, Amanjat, Joshil, if you're still in here, give me the topic sentence for body paragraph 2. What would be a good topic sentence here? You can't go wrong, just try your best. If you make a mistake, I'll correct it for you. That's why I'm here. That's what's good about these sponsor chat-only classes is you really get all my attention so I can focus on your exact example sentence. So don't be shy, just throw it out there. Give you a couple more seconds to come up with a good topic sentence. You can even paraphrase the what sentence from the small to big that I was just showing you. So again, remember, it's just basically expanding on that second point in the thesis that for the greater good, it should be allowed. Okay? Baljit, I don't think that's a topic sentence, but the happy faces are appreciated. Yeah, so animal experimentation results in numerous positives for human health. Yeah, absolutely. Naitik says, conversely, animal experiments proves their stand in some cases. That's a little bit confusing, Naitik. I'd rephrase that a little bit. I'm going to go with Manisha's here. So it is proven that animal testing or experimentation, I'll take that nice word, results in numerous positives for human health and quality of life. Okay, good. And then the explanation. So the explanation here, we can just take it from the small to big. So testing and developing drugs helps to save thousands of people's lives each year. And we can just expand on that a little bit, right? So every year there are dozens of medical breakthroughs in coming from science centers which use animals for research. Okay, so that would be the explanation, all right? And then the example. So the example here, I'm just, for sake of ease and fluidity, I'm going to use the example that I developed. So when I was thinking small to big, scientists discovered an effective insulin for diabetics testing on mice, which helped to save my cousin's life. For instance, for example, 2 years ago, researchers discovered a new type of insulin while testing on mice, and this wonder drug helped to save my cousin's life. Clearly, for this reason alone, I am in the belief that animal testing should be allowed in society. Okay? So something like that, or can, or yeah, absolutely, to save human lives. Now, girls and guys, sponsors, if you want to try this essay again at home and take your own approach, your novel approach, definitely do it. Send it to me. I'll let you know if you've written a good essay. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, is the idiom in English. What that means is there's a lot of different ways to achieve your goal. I'm just giving you one essay here. The most important is to focus on this big to small, small to big logic or strategy when you're developing your ideas for task 2, and to follow this structure. Of course, we end with the conclusion. Okay? And the conclusion also has 3 parts. You restate your points, strengthen the argument, and then give a take-home message. All right? That's generally the best way to do it. So here, our points are that animal research should or should not be allowed. The argument is that we believe it should be allowed, and then we need to come up with a take-home message, okay? I can see that Baljit and Amanjad are very, very happy. Where are you going, Amanjad? Are you in Canada, or I think you've mentioned that before to me. Okay, so in the conclusion, start your IELTS conclusion with in conclusion. They like to see that in IELTS. It gives them a very clear picture that you're about to write your conclusion. Funny thing, in university, your professor does not like to see in conclusion in most essays because they say that a conclusion should be clear that it's a conclusion. You don't need that. But on the IELTS, you should write it. So in conclusion, there is a hot debate whether or not animal testing is ethically permissible, acceptable in society. Okay, so that is the points. Okay, should it be allowed? Shouldn't it be allowed? And then the argument. Although there are good reasons to ban animal research, I do strongly believe that testing on animals is crucial for human survival. Okay, as my example showed with my cousin. And then your take-home message. I'll leave that one to our sponsors here. So Amanjat, Manisha, Baljit, what do you think would be a good take-home message to finish off this conclusion? So I definitely can think of a couple right away based on what we wrote. Let's see if you can come up with it as well. So what do you think would be a great take-home message for this task 2 essay? Stay focused, stay focused. Baljit, we've already done body paragraph 2. I think you were heavily involved in a conversation with Amanjat there, might have missed it, but it's there. We'll read it here in a second. So what would be a good take-home message? What would be kind of a smart statement to leave your reader thinking about? All right, no worries there, Baljit. You gotta, if you're riding a bike, then definitely pay attention to the road. All right, Well, while you're thinking about it, I'll give you mine. Let's see if yours is something similar. So this would be my take-home message. In the end, people need to decide whether if it is okay for humans to suffer instead of animals. Okay, so something like this, all right? In the end, people need to decide if it's okay for humans to suffer instead of animals. That's a really, that makes your reader think, right? So if we ban animal research, then sure, animals are not suffering, but now humans are suffering that would be benefiting from those drugs, right? So that's often a part of the picture that people leave out when they're thinking about the topic of animal research. So something along those lines, okay? All right, let's just review the essay, and then I'll leave you with a couple of notes. So here's the introduction. Experimentation on living creatures is common practice in today's scientific community. Thousands of laboratories around the world use animals such as monkeys and rats to test drugs and other products. The reason for this is that human trials are too risky, but the benefits can be great. Although there is truth in the unethical aspect of animal testing, I believe the greater good for humanity justifies this need. Animal rights activists around the world apply pressure on governments to ban animal testing. In many cases, the research done on animals inflicts great pain and suffering. Often these poor creatures are kept in small cages in closed rooms. They are injected with all types of chemicals and dissected for results. For instance, one research center in the US was dissecting dogs to see what effects a new type of AIDS medication had. The people in the neighborhood complained of hearing terrible noises all day. This type of suffering should not be allowed and goes against ethics. Nevertheless, nowadays there are strict regulations to minimize the suffering of animals in research. It is proven that animal experimentation results in numerous positives for human health and quality of life. Every year, there are dozens of medical breakthroughs coming from science centers which use animals for research. For example, 2 years ago, researchers discovered a new type of insulin while testing on mice, and this wonder drug helped to save my cousin's life. Clearly, for this reason alone, I'm in the belief that animal testing should be allowed in society. In conclusion, there is a hot debate whether or not animal testing is ethically acceptable in society. Although there are good reasons to ban animal research, I do strongly believe that testing on animals is crucial for human survival. In the end, people need to decide if it is okay for humans to suffer instead of animals. All right, so that would definitely get you a band 8, 8.5, maybe even a 9. Okay, and you want to practice that at home. So to achieve that level of essay, you have to practice. The novel technique that I'm showing you is, remember, don't just think big to small, but think small to big as well. Any questions, Manisha, Baljit, Amanjot? Do you have any questions about what I just showed you? Naitik, you can include idioms if used correctly, but I usually suggest students to avoid it. Most of the time, 19 out of 20 times when I see students using idioms in task 2, I see them using the idioms wrong. They often make word use mistakes in the idioms. The idiom doesn't fit the context. It's awkward, and in many cases, it's very confusing, and the essay loses its coherence or comprehensibility because of those idioms. So I think it's better not to put them in there, Naitik. Okay, so you can, but I don't recommend doing it. Any other questions? And again, I challenge you to do this kind of work at home, and try this essay one more time at home. Arcana, yeah, if there's a lot of repetition of words, especially if it's unnecessary repetition of words, then that will decrease your score. I do see that with students where their essays are very wordy. So they'll say something like, animal experiments and research need to be done carefully. You shouldn't say that. So you shouldn't say animal experiments and research need to be done carefully, because experiments and research are the same. So you don't need to repeat that in the same sentence. So you do want to be careful about that. It's called wordiness. Wordiness is not good, okay? Mohammed, that's a good question. So, in conclusion, we should paraphrase along with the opinion, or can we start directly with the opinion? In some cases, you can, but I definitely recommend in the conclusion just to paraphrase the points first. So, kind of restate using different words what the points of your essay is, and then emphasize your opinion. You can go right into your opinion, but I think it's good to restate your points first. Arcana, there is always a way to avoid wordiness, even in task 1. So if you have a specific example and you have an essay that you're thinking of that you wrote where you had this issue, just send it to me and I'll take a look at it, okay? And I'll give you some feedback on what you could do to avoid repetition. All right, but you should not have too much repetition in task 1 either. All right. Okay, Manisha, I'm happy that it was all clear for you. You're very welcome, Mohammed. Girls and guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. Tomorrow we're doing another task 2. Everybody will be able to chat in that one. So make sure to tune in. It will be at the same time. Again, if you haven't checked this out yet on our websites, do so. aehelp.com for academic IELTS. It's academicenglishhelp.com. And generalieltshelp.com or gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Arcana, if you want to book a date for speaking practice, please do it soon. There are a lot of students booking these speaking interviews, a lot of success stories there, so we're getting very busy in our schedule. So ASAP, as soon as possible, Arcana, if you want to get a time within the next week, okay? We're almost booked up a whole week in advance for speaking now. All right. I think Arcana, there's probably some slots in the next 3-4 days. So 3 or 4 days from now, there's still a few slots that are open for the speaking. So just send me an email and then we can coordinate that. All right. Okay, girls and guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for the contributions, Arcana, Manisha, Mohammed, Naitik, Baljit. When you watch this, I know you're riding your bike and you're just listening, but I hope you arrive home safely. Thanks for all your contributions. You've done a wonderful job. Keep up the good work. Try that essay at home. Remember, think not just big to small, but think small to big as well. Bye for now.